And we do see a Bamboo and looks like a Neo Splash-O-Matic coming out from, I believe that is Zarigani in the green and Melon Pop in the purple. And a Splat Brawl. Actually, so Melon Pop coming out with kind of a more, not a pretty conventional comp that we would see out of Western teams with that NZAP, CDS, Splatbrella, and a Splatter Scope. And that is the vanilla Splash-O-Matic coming out for Zarigani there, as the opening push looks to go to Melon Pop, who is but immediately gets taken down by the Splash-O-Matic.
Absolutely, and one thing of note that is pretty common of this map, but not typically common anywhere else, is the addition of Toxic Mist. Putting a Toxic Mist can just shut down that box push incredibly quickly.
Yes, and Toxic Mist getting a buff recently with the most recent patch has been used more, and especially we've seen a lot more use out of the vanilla Splash-O-Matic with the Inkjet there, as we do see the CDS player Sui getting a pick, getting a second pick underneath there at the Fight Club underneath mid, looking to pick off one more player at the schools, but the Rainmaker's getting pushed away from the action here. And it looks like they're going to get a lot of points out of this, especially with Rain behind it. Does fall down. I don't know if they did go left, but they did fall down. But still, once again, 40 points remaining. That is a winnable score for Melon Pop if they can, if they want to commit to playing defense for 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Which honestly sounds awful. I can't imagine trying to play defense for 3 minutes. That just sounds like the absolute worst. We do have 3 up on either side, with Cha-Cha here on the brush trying to push up and be a little bit sneaky, unfortunately getting taken down, but was enough of a distraction that they might be able to get the Rainmaker a little bit further. Unfortunately going 3 down, and that push is going to stop there for Zarigani.
Yeah, Jelly spreading that great colored ink all over the ground, giving the Rainmaker no opportunity to even get a footing to get the push going. So that will stall the push there. As Melon Pop, the brush getting a little, overstating a little bit, as Cha-Cha is able to get a nice double. The Rainmaker, the last player alive, and it is the Charger, so they won't have a Stingray to work with either. It's just going to go forward there, and that's a smart play. You know you're going to die anyway, so you might as well just get the Rainmaker as far into the enemy base as possible to stall the push and give your teammates more time to respawn, as we do see a push here coming out. But the bridge is up there. Oh, no, actually it's going down, and that's going to be enough to get the lead. What timing on that push there, as the bridge lowers right as they're going up there, and that gives them a huge score. So a nice push and nice timing for Zarigani.
Absolutely. 2 of their teammates had just gone down as that bridge lowered, so they managed to push just far enough to take that lead. And I mean, we said that 40 was a winnable push, 26 is even more so. It's still 2 minutes left in this match, though, and with how things are going, this back and forth we've been seeing, this could really go either way.
Absolutely, as we see Melon Pop here struggling to get anything going, just gets swallowed up by that InkStorm here in InkStorm 8. With about 1:30 left to go here, Zarigani in control of the lead and mid, which is exactly what you want to be when you have this huge lead that they do on this map and mode. Inkjet ready to go here for Zarigani, as they do throw some Toxic Mist, trying to slow some down. The CDS does get picked off, and the Rainmaker is picked up. So we might see another push here. If it doesn't add to the lead, it will at least get the Rainmaker deep into the enemy base, and that's going to stall Melon Pop's bid at trying to reclaim lead here. About 1 minute left to go.
Absolutely, and a few players down, Zarigani opting to, back up a little bit, but it looks like most of their players have gone into the danger zone. They really don't need to do a whole lot here, just a little bit of distraction, a little bit of, some plays just to move the Rainmaker forward. They don't actually need to fight for for lead, so doing things like that where you're in a bad situation, you hop off the map, it's not a terrible idea.
That looked like one of the CDS cheesy jumps that we've seen on Twitter over the past couple of months that just got nerfed. that just kind of fell apart there. But with 20 seconds left to go, 2 players do go down for Zarigani, and that bridge is lowering, so there is a window here for Melon Pop to get lead. They just need a few more picks and keep that Rainmaker safe, but the Cha-Cha with the brush trying to dive in, but the Cha-Cha does go down, and the Bamboo's the last one. Bamboo gets a huge pick there, and that saves the lead. What a shot! What a hero play by the Bamboo! And what a save! That looked like all for certain that Zarigani was going to lose that at the last second there, but wow, what a play by Chico-tan there on the Bamboo. I mean, wow.
People have been calling for a little bit now for nerfs to the Bamboo, and if Nogami was watching that match, I mean, even he might agree that Chico-tan needs a little bit of a nerf on that one. That was absolutely wild.
Wow, I think Zarigani thinks that was just fine. But wow, what a hero play! That looked like a 1v4 situation, and found a way to land a shot, splitting everybody and killing only the Rainmaker. And it was so, if they don't make that shot, that game goes to Melon Pop. So one shot right there flips the entire game on its head. As we now go to Black Belly zones. Splat zones at Black Belly Skate Park. Now, if we look at our cheat sheets here, one of these players does have Xplosh next to their name, and this is a very good Xplosh map and mode.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Shimetan pulls that out. I mean, if you're going to run it anywhere, of the maps we have in this rotation, this is probably going to be the one you want to run on most, so... I guess we'll just have to wait and see if Japan agrees with us on the Xplosher's strength here.
I mean, if you have Xplosh in your pocket, this is the opportunity to use it, at least in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm commentating and not playing. And we do see a Tri-Slosher coming out from both teams, and instead going with the Firefin Scoped is both teams here. Cha-Cha coming out once again with the ink brush that worked out so well for them in that last game, as both teams trying to get control of zone, at least initially, but it will go to Zarigani, as you see the Tri-Slosher getting a nice fall-off kill while riding the tower there. Lily controlling this tower, and especially in the beginning, is key for both teams.
Absolutely, and Tri-Slosher just doing what it does best on this map, and showing us pretty succinctly why it's a pretty good pick on this map. Just standing up on top of that tower and sloshing down into zones, picking out anybody trying to climb up to you. It's an incredibly strong play.
And we do see Tri-Sloshers from both teams. However, Zarigani's using the armor Tri-Slosher as opposed to the rain one that we see out of Melon Pop, as we see the vanilla Tri-Slosher getting picked off. At least initially there, as Melon Pop is able to get control of zones, but it's very difficult to hold on to zones long enough to get actual points on this map and mode, as all you really have to do is sneeze on a zone, and that's enough to stall the entire thing, as 2 players go down for Melon Pop. As we see, basically a combined total of 20 points scored in the first minute and a half here.
Yeah, it does look like Zarigani is getting a little bit of an upper hand here. We can see the Tri-Sloshers both taking each other out, so that'll give the rest of the players a little bit more room to breathe.
Yes, Zarigani in control now, all their penalty points gone, and they're doing some pretty permanent damage here, but immediately gets flipped by Melon Pop. We do see the Tri-Slosher trying to get up control of tower, but the vanilla Tri-Slosher on Zarigani already has control of it, using the high ground to their advantage, is able to get a nice pick. So the zone at least going back to control to Zarigani here with about 3 minutes left to go, and not a lot of penalty points left as Zarigani looks to do more permanent damage.
Absolutely, and it looks like Melon Pop's just having a little bit of trouble getting the picks in the paint that they need to keep this zone active. So we'll have to see if they can make a play. They're running out of time a little bit. We're about halfway through our timers, and Zarigani's halfway through their count, so they're losing time a little bit to get this going.
Melon Pop having a bit of a difficulty finding an answer to the Tri-Slosher on Zarigani, the vanilla Tri-Slosher, who already has 11 KA, has pretty much been dominating the entire map from the tower. As you see Juju here trying to build up armor to give them a little bit of advantage as they push in here, and they do find a pick on the vanilla Tri-Slosher, losing their Tri-Slosher as well. But, oh, and one more player going down, but a nice pick there by Juju, who's just trying to hold on the zone a little bit longer and avoid the shots from the Firefin, who is popping off Bomb Rush, which will give control back to Zarigani.
Juju putting in some work over here, staying alive as long as possible. Unfortunately, does go down to the charger, but not before they got the cap for their team and managed to keep this going. That penalty applied was incredibly important. You don't want to be in a situation where you're wiped, and the other team is already pushed down to 32.
Yes, as we got about a minute and a half left to go here. Melon Pop now getting rid of their penalty points and just now getting under 90. So this is the first real lockout situation that we've seen from Melon Pop, and they do pick off Cha-Cha on the ink brush there. They're going to need to find a way to get a few more picks as well if they want to hold the zones long enough to at least get somewhat close to taking the lead here with about a minute left to go. Zarigani does have the specials they need with Bomb Rush and Baller. They do get a pick on the Nouveau Tri-Slosher. And the zone kind of tinkering back and forth here, but with Rain coming out and Baller coming out on the last zone they needed to cap, that will apply the penalty to Melon Pop. But that was the first real push they've had this entire game.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate they got that penalty applied. They had some really good momentum going, but unfortunately, one down on either team now. Their Melon Pop's pushed back a little bit. They have to find a way to get back into mid, and picking off that Tri-Slosher might do it.
That is
beautiful snipe from Yuki.
That is a huge pick, and the right player that you want to pick off as well. 16 KA from that Tri-Slosher. That's just been dominating this map and mode from the tower there. But Zarigani, the last time they got locked out, did a good job of trying to hold off, build up specials, and use the specials very effectively to give them the control of the map that they need. And they're going to need to do that again just now, as Melon Pop has eliminated all of their penalty points now and are just about 15 points away from taking lead. You see the Tri-Slosher going down, but it's a 2v2 situation. 7 points left to go here. The zone, Cha-Cha, the last player alive, somehow surviving during all of this, using Baller. They don't cap the zone, but I think it's going to stall out. It is. They didn't cap the zone back in enough time, so the game finally ended. So Melon Pop, once again, trying to find a way to get one at the very end there. This set could very easily be 2-0 the other way, even though we've seen higher KAs coming out of Zarigani.
That hurt my heart. Oh, that was so close. And every moment that brush stood in zone was just even longer that zone wasn't capped, and they were closer and closer to ending that game. Unfortunately, they really needed to focus on taking out that brush first and then painting, because with the players they had at their disposal, painting over a brush just wasn't viable. But I mean, the zone's small enough, you take out the brush, you get it half painted already. They could have flipped that so easily, and my heart's just hurting so much right now.
Once again, we saw a hero play from the Bamboo on the Rainmaker game. How the brush did not die there is beyond me, and stayed alive long enough, painted the zone long enough. It kept flipping back and forth, but it gave the brush enough paint to build up that Baller, which ultimately sealed it. So we've been seeing some clutch plays by Zarigani to hold on to leads, and Melon Pop's going to have to find a way to break through here as we go to tower control at the Reef, and we see pretty much the same comps coming out from both teams. However, no Tri-Slosher this time around, considering that we are now on Inkblot Art Academy, and a nice pick early on by both teams, and armor coming out from Zarigani.
Shimetan getting into a little bit of a bad position here, might need to back up if they can't handle this umbrella. I mean, I almost can't believe they took that out. And a beautiful follow-up pick on the CDS, who dropped a little bit too quickly into mid. And we'll see if they can get this going. Things are usually a little bit slow to start on this map. Teams kind of feel out their way into mid and trade a little bit before they can get going. Yeah,
we see Shelton here dancing around the tower, popping armor, and is actually honestly kind of doing a good job of skirmishing here, drawing a lot of attention even back when they were fighting the Barella on the right stack there. And their teammates doing a good job of responding to all the fights that Inzap was getting in. And that's going to clear the way for Zarigani to clear this first checkpoint with no resistance at all. And you see the bomb rush coming off on the tower. It's kind of interesting. We do see the fire fin coming off from Zarigani instead of the Stingrays variant that Melon Pop is using. But 0 Stingrays have come out so far, and that's been kind of huge. And there's not going to be any Stingrays now as Sui just gets a pick on the charger. And actually, that is a wipe from Melon Pop, who does the defensive play there. Okay, so that will stall the tower for now, but 2 checkpoints fall in that first push there by Zarigani.
Yes, we really came in clutch there. This map is a little bit tough. Once you get to that second checkpoint, things can really start to collapse because once the enemy team gets up onto your plat like that, it's incredibly hard to come back in and to make those defensive plays that you need. Just players all over your plat, it makes it really dangerous to drop and really hard to get the positioning to be able to stop pushes. So the fact that they only took the first 2 checkpoints is honestly, that's good. Melon Pop here obviously mounting a counter offense and pushing on up, some specials already out and already approaching the second checkpoint.
You saw Melon Pop, all 4 players basically on the tower at that first checkpoint there. They understand the importance of getting past checkpoints, and they're going to get past the second one with ease, and it looks like they're going to find a way to get lead here with 2 players down for Zarigani. They do get lead, and they're going to approach the second checkpoint. If a lockout situation can happen here, Melon Pop might be able to find a way to get past this third checkpoint as well, but with both checkpoints falling for both teams, this could be anyone's game. It just all depends on if Melon Pop can keep this push going or not. And Zarigani, who's able to get a pick on the Brella and is now starting to chase players out of their plat, and the wipe actually going down. But even though the lead does go to Melon Pop, this is going to be a crazy shootout for those last 2 minutes because there is almost no checkpoints in the way of either team continuing to make pushes here. But all 4 specials online, Lily, for Zarigani as they look to get the push going to try to get lead back.
I'm really interested to hear. Yeah, they must have seen some paint coming out there from Juju because they were trying to go for a little bit of a sneaky flank there and maybe got a little bit called out. Let's see if they can still not quite make it effective. So Melon Pop is going to be back in that same disadvantaged position that they were in the first place and that we then saw Zarigani in. This is the danger zone. Trying to keep the players off the tower, trying to keep this push down. This Ray has done some really good work for that. Very fortunately pushed Shimetan back.
Yeah, the Ray didn't get any picks there, but that's not really the true purpose of the Ray. The Ray is just to kind of disperse players, and you saw it chase the Charger player all the way back to mid, and that's going to be enough for Melon Pop to get back control of their plat, at least initially. It looks like they still got one more Weasel in their hen house up here that Sui is trying to chase out. And a nice pick there by Chico Tan, who is looking to get lead back. They're so close, and the Brell is the last player alive for Jelly. Able to stall a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. The lead is going to fall. This checkpoint is going to fall, and we are looking at a potential KO as players are just having difficulties getting out of their spawn. So once again, Zarigani able to come up clutch in the last few seconds and is able to pull off the sweep here that is a lot closer than what a 3-0 matchup would look like, at least from what we've seen.
Absolutely. We saw both players do some really good work on all 3 games, really. Everyone did an incredible job trying to keep advantage, pushing where they could, and these games were a lot closer than they appeared. And just an incredible demonstration on how to play Tower Control Inkblot. Absolutely beautiful.